With most cryptocurrencies, you trade coins or tokens. With Verge currency, you spend currency. The new iOS wallet, now available on the App Store.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, we're here with the Fueled by Verge Upstate Racing League as they present the Mighty Midget 161, presented by Carpenter's Tax Service. Here tonight in the booth to fill your ear holes is myself. My name is KR Stolvis, and none other than the highly esteemed Kelly Dahl. How you doing tonight, Kelly?
I'm excited, KR. Penultimate week of the season. Keep forgetting that we have 2 races in the next week, but the championship battle is extremely close. It's very hard to get it any closer. I mean, the battle that's brewing between Steph Marinac and Guillaume Courtin is insane, and you've got a couple drivers that are just on the outside waiting for those 2 to make a mistake, and with 3 races left, nothing's really set in stone.
No, nothing is set in stone. The only thing that is set in stone is our point standings leading up to tonight's race. As we look at the championship drivers, these drivers in the top 10 in the points, Steph Marinac leading with a 1,209 point accumulation. Guillaume only 4 points back. Guillaume, having a stellar season so far, has been unable to find victory lane, but that has not stopped him from finding a way onto the podium on a weekly basis.
And I think that just goes to show that wins are one thing, but the most important thing is just to be consistent, and Guillaume has been consistent this entire season, placing in the top 10 over half of all of his races, and every time he's placed in the top 10, he's actually placed in the top 5. So Guillaume has been very consistent, especially during this chase. As soon as we started the chase, he's been top 5, I think, every single week.
He has had a heck of a season and looking to cap it off. As you said, just 2 weeks left. We have the Mighty Midget 161 tonight here at Lanier, and then next week at New Smyrna, we will have the Fueled by Verge Championship Twin 100s, and that is going to be an outstanding night overall as we crown a champion. But not only a champion, let's not forget about the best of the rest. And right now, that is Al Smith, who is in 11th place, 44 points ahead of Hugo Paquette.
Yeah, Al's been also having a fantastic chase. As soon as he's been a bit, he hasn't quite been able to crack the top 5 that often. He was able to do it a couple weeks ago, but again, he's been up in the top 10. So Al Smith having a fairly good season. Hugo Paquette just not too far back from him. So if Al has a bad night tonight and maybe a bad week next week, I think we could see Paquette jump up in there.
And Hugo right now sitting second on the speed charts in this practice session. So it could be a sign of things to come from that 33 here tonight. But just under 2 minutes left in this warm-up session. And Kelly, I find it hard to believe that we just have 2 weeks left in this season.
Yeah, it has been a long season. We started all the way back in November with the Fueled by Verge 109 back in Iowa, won by Bill Martin. And now we're all the way here in March, just kind of a week away from the championship. And speaking of Bill Martin, I'm going to take a quick look at the Brian Rogers Motorsports Rookie of the Year standings. And that is another intense battle. We got Bill Martin with 495 points over Joe Schaefer, who has 486. So that's a difference of only 9 points between those two drivers. And pretty much any time we've seen Bill Martin up at the front, we've had Joe Schaefer right behind him, or even swap their positions. I mean, those two guys have both been extremely fast, but just have had some bad luck in the chase, which leaves them both sitting in 4th and 5th respectively.
Yeah, that is really insane how these two rookies with the Upstate Racing League are sitting so close to each other throughout this entire championship run. It's been exciting to watch these two drivers go at it week in and week out.
Yeah, this whole season has been fantastic. I mean, every week we haven't been able to really guess who's going to win. We may have an idea looking at practice times, but as soon as the green flag drops, everything kind of goes out the window. We've had people just lose it with the car since we're running the super late model, and there's a lot more power going out of those rear wheels. We've had people just not able to carry that speed for the whole length of the race, burning off their tires. And I think that's something we need to keep in mind tonight. 161 laps, and these guys are not allowed to change tires at all.
Well, the warm-up session is done and over with. We get ready to head into qualifying. Someone is going to win the Arts Barbershop Quick Clip Time Trial Award. We're going to find out who that is. Top 10 and qualifying goes straight to the main. Everyone else going into the heat race to set their starting position for the 161 lap event. The 72 of Andy Lambert beginning to roll out. So too already on the track is the 5 of Scott Austin. Drivers have 2 minutes to lay down 2 laps, so this is going to be a very quick qualifying session.
Well, considering the practice times were 13 seconds, I don't expect them to need that full 2 minutes, and we're going to see these times rolling in soon. And here comes Brian Hacker and Scott Austin putting on the first times. Matthew Barkhouse puts down our new quick time with a 13:022. I think that's faster. That is faster than anything that was put down in practice. So a really good lap from that 15 machine.
Track has cooled off a little bit as the sky has gone overcast, so that might be helping out Barkhouse for the moment. Matt Roll in the 90 machine. Right now he sits 12th place. The 96 of Al Smith jumping up into 3rd.
And now actually going to get knocked down to 4th as we see Guillaume Fortin put down a good time to put himself in the 2nd. But the thing to keep in mind is the top 8 of this qualifying order will be inverted. So Matthew Barkhouse holds on to the fastest time. He will actually start in 8th. So it is you do get a bit of an advantage by being the fastest driver. However, it does kind of drop you back.
And speaking of 8th place right now, that goes to the 6 of Joe Schaefer. Bill Martin in the 39 machine sitting in 2nd place. And it looks like several drivers now have laid down their qualifying and are ready to roll into our Western Super Series heat race number 1 as this qualifying session closes down and we get ready to go into our heat race for tonight. Drivers taking to the grid for that. So let's go to our best colorful creation starting lineup. The 5 machine of Scott Austin on the front row with the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre on his outside.
Row 2, we've got the 72 of Andy Lambert and the 42 of Brett Bartels.
Row 3 will be the 90 of Matt Roll and the 1 of Jeremy Carpenter.
Row 4, we'll see the 31 of Brad Carpenter and the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr.
Row 5 will be the 18 of A.J. Hamill and the 71 of Jeremy Watkins. And one driver who has not made it out there yet, that is the 7 of Brett Rolls. We'll see if he can make it out for this heat race.
And it doesn't look like he's in the session, so he will not make the heat race. And we'll see if Brett Rolls is going to come back for the main event.
Everybody going to be able to make the race here tonight, as the cutoff limit not quite achieved. Just a few more cars and we might have had some drivers going home.
And it would have been, it's a very big field here tonight. We've been kind of lowered on the lower end of car counts the last couple weeks, but it seems like Lanier is a big event. Green flag is going to come out right away, and here comes the 5 of Scott Austin diving into turn 1. The 72 Andy Lambert trying to follow him underneath the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre.
As Austin jumps out to the early lead, the 72 of Lambert down on the inside. Matt Roll in the 90 machine finds himself in 4th place, trying to pick a winner of the battle between the 72 and the 81, and already the 42 of Brett Bartels going around. We have caution out on the track. Back this up to our turn 3 instant replay and see where it went wrong for the 42 as he battled down with the 31 of Brad Carpenter, and around goes the 42. Quick little spin, little tap on the wall, but gets it righted and rolling once again.
Yeah, I think that was just a case of a couple different drivers having different points for acceleration, but Jeremy Carpenter will take the blame for that one, which means he will be moved to the tail end of the longest line.
So Scott Austin in the 5 machine, your race leader for our Western Super Series heat race. So far he has led all of the laps in this heat race. Got a good jump on that start. See if he can do it again.
Yeah, already on to lap 5 of the 12 laps in our short little heat race. And it's going to be difficult for any of these guys to really make a move on Scott Austin. He's going to have the advantage of being able to control the start, and without really having to factor in tires. I mean, he can drive as hard as he wants for those last few laps.
So as the field forms up behind the pace car once again, we're going to fire them off. We'll have 6 laps to go in this heat race. McIntyre in that 81 now going to be on the inside line. And it looks like we're going to do a single file restart. Scott Austin in the 5 gets on the throttle, and back underway we go with 6 laps to go.
Andy Lambert quickly sliding into that bottom lane. A little scrape of the wall, and I think we're going to see that quite a bit here tonight. Is here in this bull ring, if you're wanting to get the throttle, the power down early, it's going to carry you right out to the wall on track out. And here comes that 81 trying to challenge the 72, kind of losing ground, but gaining it on the corner entry. So it seems like Jimmy McIntyre is just pushing that entry hard, while Lambert's kind of taking the adage of slow in, fast out.
Meanwhile, Austin has a bit of a gap, trying to pull away from the 72 of Andy Lambert. AJ Hamill in the 18 machine finds himself in 6th place behind the 31 of Brad Carpenter. And as we mentioned, everybody going to make it into the show here tonight. Brian Rogers in the 12 machine, he finds himself in 7th place. With 2 laps to go now, seeing the white flag in the air for our race leader, Scott Austin.
See if Andy Lambert has anything for him. Not quite able to get to the bumper. Just behind them, though, Brad Carpenter and Matt Roll battling it out. Carpenter beating in the rear bumper of the 90. Oh, getting into the quarter panel. He's going to turn Roll sideways.
So Matt Roll down to the inside wall. Roll's still trying to grab a gear and get rolling. He is going to make it across the start-finish line. But Scott Austin, your race winner. And now the drivers go into our warm-up session, and that means it is time to play our national anthems, both, well, America and America Light, I guess. Oh, Kelly. But anyways, not only do we have drivers from America and Canada, the broadcast booth is sharing those nationalities. So guys, join us in these anthems.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Turn 3 Racing Network as we get ready for the Mighty Midget 161 presented by Carpenter's Tax Service. In the booth tonight is myself and Kelly Dahl. And Kelly, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for the action. But before we can get to it, we got to thank a few people.
Yeah, we always have to thank our title sponsor, Verge Currency. Verge is a cryptocurrency designed for people and for everyday use. It improves upon the original Bitcoin blockchain and aims to fulfill its initial purpose of providing individuals and businesses with a fast, efficient, and decentralized way of making direct transactions while maintaining your privacy. So big thanks to Verge Currency. They're pretty much the main reason why we're able to get this show to you week after week.
You can check them out at vergecurrency.com. We got that up in our overlay there, and you know, it's always a good thing that cryptocurrency. Verge is really one of the well, I don't know, I mean, they are out there and they have quite a few following with other professional drivers.
Yeah, they're definitely out in the market of racing, and they're really big supporters of racing in all sorts of forums. But moving on, we got to talk about our fastest driver in qualifying, the winner of the Arts Barbershop Quick Clip Award. That is Matthew Barkos with a 13:022. That was an extremely fast lap. As I mentioned earlier, faster than anything we had seen in practice. So, kind of just maybe a hint of things to come as the time does wear on, the sun goes down, the temperatures drop. I mean, the track when I first got into the sim was, I think, around 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we're down to 80 degrees on the track surface, so that's just going to increase decrease our lap times, increase our speeds, increase the grip. So we'll have to see how that kind of factors in tonight, because if those drivers keep driving that low line, it will heat it up, and if they heat up that low line enough, that may kind of bring out the high line.
So as we get ready for the session to kick over into our race, Kelly, you got to turn a few laps out here at Lanier in this super late model. What can you tell us these drivers are about ready to face?
For me, they have to face the dizziness, because I mean, it's a bull ring. This thing is only just over a third of a mile long. So Lanier, you're pretty much coming out of the corner, getting a short straightaway, immediately going into the next corner. The inside line is definitely going to be dominant, especially early on in the race. I mean, we saw it in the heat. Those guys were going all the way down pretty much to the... Another thing they'll have to take care of is that corner exit, getting the power down, because these super late models do have a lot of power behind them, and as time goes on and the tires wear off, it's going to be more difficult to get that power to the ground.
As we go through our best colorful creations starting lineup, the 6 of Joe Schaefer going to be on the inside of row number 1, and Brian Hacker in a Dan Dubuque paint scheme in the 11 machine on his outside.
Starting row number 2, we're going to see the championship leader, the number 2 of Steph Marinac, and the 96 of Al Smith.
Row 3 will be the 20 of Justin McDuff and the 13 of Guillaume Fortin.
Row 4, we're going to see Bill Martin and our Quick Clip Pole Award winner, that's Matthew Barkos.
Row 5, the 17 of AJ Rogers and the 33 of Hugo Paquette.
Row 6, we see the 5 of Scott Austin and the 72 of Andy Lambert.
Row 7, the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre and the 31 of Brad Carpenter.
Row 8, we've got the 18 of AJ Hamill and the 12 of Brian Rogers Jr.
Row 9, the 42 of Brett Bartels and the 1 of Jeremy Carpenter.
And row 10, we got the 71 of Jeremy Watkins and the 90 of Matt Roll.
And that is going to make up tonight's starting lineup. As the pace car peels off, Joe Schaefer in the 6 machine gets on the throttle, and the 11 of Brian Hacker matches him door to door. They go down into turn number 1.
And Schaefer is going to win that battle, and now here comes Marinac trying to take advantage of that inside line. Those guys on that started on the outside are trying to find their way to the bottom as soon as possible, because early on in this race, that bottom line is going to dominate. That 11 of Hacker going to find a gap, move himself down, but Al Smith still stuck on the high side.
Al Smith in that 96 having an outstanding start to this race, finding himself in danger of losing all those positions if he cannot get down to the bottom, and that is a freight train that also has affected the 13 of Guillaume, and not only that, but our pole sitter, the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
And neither of these drivers quite able to find a gap just yet. Here comes Hugo Paquette on the inside of that 13 machine. Now Al Smith's going to find a gap, and he's going to be able to come to the bottom side. Looking back up towards the front, we've got Joe Schaefer still holding off that 2 of Steph Marinac, but Marinac is taking a lot of pressure from that 11 of Brian Hacker.
Yeah, Brian Hacker running a Hanson starter shop on the hood of that machine. Right now he sits in third and watching the 2 and the 6. Joe Schaefer looking very smooth here very early in this race. We're already on lap 7.
Yeah, 161 laps are gonna go by quickly when we're doing them at 13 seconds. These guys gonna try to save these tires as much as possible. Now that 2 of Steph Marinac starting to drop back just a little bit. He may be kind of easing off the throttle and trying to save those tires for later, but here comes Brian Hacker trying to get some pressure on him. And taking a look back throughout our field, the 13 of Guillaume Fortin still stuck on the outside.
Yeah, Guillaume falling to 10th place here is the 5 of Scott Austin trying to find a way around that 13 machine, and Guillaume just needs a little bit of an opening that he can squeeze that 13 down into, and now he is going to find it. And can we see if that 13 of Guillaume make his way all the way back up into the top 5 here tonight?
Just in front of them, we got a bit of a battle for position here. Al Smith and Hugo Paquette door to door right now, going down the back straightaway. Is Al Smith on that outside, trying to see if he can make the outside line work early on. I'm not thinking it's going to. I think he's going to have to wait till later on in this race for that outside line to come in. But at the very least, he is going to put a little bit of rubber down out there. But while these 2 cars are side by side, it seems to be holding up the 15 and the 13. Oh, a bit of a slide from the 33.
Yeah, the 33 got a little bit loose. This time he's a little bit more loose through the middle of the corner, and that is going to allow Al Smith to clear him, but 3 wide. The 13 of Guillaume all the way down on the apron, and the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse right in the middle of this, with Hugo Paquette now finally starting to drop back a little bit. Barkhouse looking like he might be the one trying to win this battle. But Guillaume right there in that 13 machine, not letting him get away.
Yeah, Guillaume's got to be careful. Almost got a little bit loose off of that corner. And yeah, he is looking fairly loose as he slides through turns 3 and 4. So got to settle it down, cool off those tires a little bit. A bit of a check up at the back of the field. That's going to catch the 18. He nearly gets turned around there, but able to save it as there was a stack up and a bit of an accordion effect as I think the 5 rear-ended the 881, the 72 rear-ended the 5, and then the 18 rear-ended the 72 and nearly lost control of his car, but a good save from the AJ Hamill there to keep his car pointed in the right direction.
Right now we have a battle going on for the 5th place position. As that battle draws to a close, the 20 of Justin McDuff settles for 6th place. Bill Martin moving into 4th with AJ Rogers in the 17 machine, finding himself in that 5th spot.
And now 19 laps in, we're starting to watch these drivers kind of experimenting with lines here. Take a look at what the 20's doing. Coming way up high and then diving down off the corner to try to maximize his exit. But bit of a check up in front of them as I think that was the 11 getting into the wall.
Brian Hacker in that 11 machine starting to lose some ground to the 2 of Steph Marinac. Marinac, though, now 1.3 seconds behind our race leader. That is the 6 of Joe Schaefer. Schaefer got out to this early lead after qualifying in 8th spot. Started on the front row inside because of the invert and has taken full advantage of that. And now he has set sail on the field, opening up a 1.5 second lead.
And we've seen Joe Schaefer be fast while still conserving his tires before, so these guys have got to be careful. If Joe Schaefer continues to open up this gap and this race is able to go caution-free, that 6 car might just take off.
As the 6 continues to cycle around, it won't be too much longer before he finds himself into lap traffic. As short as this track is and as quick as the end of the field, well, It's only about 4-second gap between the 6 and the last place car on the track. That is the 71 of Jeremy Watkins.
Taking a look through the field, trying to find a bit of a battle. We've got the Bill Martin trying to get around the 11 of Brian Hacker. Hacker stuck on that high side, but now we've seen the high side be a bit more competitive. The 11 still trying to hang on, gets on the throttle a little too early and gets up into the wall, but just a light scrape and he gets right back on it. Now coming off turn 4, again up into the wall, and I think that's just something we're gonna see these guys do, is just keep knocking down the wall on the exit of 2 and 4.
The 17 of Rogers hoping that the 39 of Bill Martin can clear the 11. That will allow Rogers to continue to keep that 11 on the high side, and now the Rogers door to door with Hacker. Justin McDuff in the 20 dropping down to the inside. He's setting himself up to try and work around the 11 as well.
And Brian Hacker needs to find the bottom side soon, as we're just behind them, man. We've got Al Smith as well trying to make a move on Matthew Barkhouse. He's trying to take advantage of that outside lane, and actually got to look back in front of them as look at the 20. He's going to try to make it 3 wide. Can I actually think twice about it and back out? Oh, bit of a slide from the 17 of AJ Rogers, and that's going to allow Brian Hacker to hold on to that position.
McDuff in the 20 machine looked like he was going to go a little bit high there. The 15 of Barkhouse still battling with the 96 of Al Smith as we go on board with Smith on this high side. Ooh, as the 20 of McDuff is going to get loose and go for a spin down to the inside.
He's on the apron, so we are going to stay green. He's going to take a tow, and we're going to continue racing, and I'm sure that's what Joe Schaefer wants to see, as he's opened up that gap to almost 3 seconds. So he wants this thing to go green for as long as possible, because he does not want to lose that lead he's built up.
Yeah, he has opened up over a straightaway lead on the 2 of Steph Marinac. Marinac, your points leader, just 4 points ahead of Guillaume. Guillaume right now finding himself in 7th place, battling with the 96 of Al Smith, with the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre right behind him.
So big problems, as we mentioned, for that 20 of McDuff, and he is actually going to take it behind the wall. So taking a look at the standings for McDuff, I think that may just kind of knock him out of contention, as he was already 54 points behind Steph Marinac. And if everything kind of shakes out the way it is right now, with Marinac sitting in 2nd place, I think mathematically that will eliminate Justin McDuff. So unfortunate situation for that 20, but he was having a good season, and hopefully we'll see him try again next year.
Guillaume still battling with the 96 of Al Smith. Door to door, side by side, lap after lap. That high side starting to become a little bit more valuable real estate, as Al Smith is holding up this 13, and it appears that neither driver is losing too much time to the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
Each one trying to hold on to that position, but it looks like Al Smith going to go a little bit too high, and that's going to allow Guillaume to take away the position. But Guillaume actually almost lost it, as he got a little bit loose out of 2, again loose out of 4, and now here comes the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre trying to go below the 96.
Already on to lap 42, now make it 43 of 161. Matthew Barkhouse winning the Arts Barbershop Quick Clip Time Trial Award, has made it up into 6th place. He got hung out on that high side at the initial start of this race, and has slowly been working his way back forward.
And here comes the 13 battling that 81 of McIntyre. Now we're going to see if that high line is strong just yet. I saw the 18 go below the yellow line, trying to get as short of a corner as possible. Sorry, that's the 81. I keep trying to, these numbers are backwards. Oh, yellow on the racetrack. You have to take a look at who's gone around. Looks like that is the 33 of Paquette.
Hugo Paquette finding trouble here at Lanier. Let's check and see how this went down. Battling with the 5 of Scott Austin on his inside. Hugo getting a little loose off of turn 4, coming down, making contact with the 5, and then almost saved it. A little bit of an overcorrect, but keeps it off the wall. That is enough to bring out tonight's first caution.
And it's something Schaefer probably did not want to see, as he was, I think, 4 seconds ahead of the 2 of Marinac. And taking a look at the lap times, I mean, Marinac at the right before the caution had put down a 14.1, while Schaefer had put down a 13.8 right before the yellow flew. So just a huge difference in lap times between those two guys, and Schaefer is absolutely flying out there.
And Joe Schaefer got that clean air, got out there in front, and hasn't looked back. This caution now going to bunch the field up once again. We do have now 2 cars 1 lap down. The 33 of Hugo Paquette in 18th spot. He is the first car 1 lap down. And the 72 of Andy Lambert, who finds himself 19th.
And taking a look at our championship battle, we got Steph Marinac sitting in 2nd right now, with Guillaume Fortin currently holding up in 7th. So a bit of an advantage for Marinac, and Schaefer trying to get himself back into the title contention. I mean, he can dominate this race all he wants, but if Marinac is still going to finish in 2nd, he's not going to gain that many points to catch up to Marinac. So this is really what Steph needs to do. He doesn't need to win the race. He just needs to make sure that Schaefer can't really make any ground on him.
Joe Schaefer, Steph Marinac stack up behind the pace car. The 39 of Bill Martin on the inside of row number 2, with AJ Rogers on his outside. Ryan Hacker and Matthew Barkhouse in row number 3. As we get ready for the lights to go out, we're going to fire this one off once again. This time it will be with 109 laps to go when the green flag drops.
Field is now stacked up side by side. Joe Schaefer going to have the advantage on this next restart, as he will be able to basically take off at essentially at any point he wants. But with how fast you've seen the green come out after pace cars dived out of the way, I don't think it's going to help him all that much. We'll have to see if Stefan Marinac is going to be able to hold off Bill Martin.
Bill Martin already door to door with the 2 of Marinac as they battle it out for 2nd place. Bill Martin on that inside line is going to have the advantage, but you can see that outside lane really not losing a whole lot of ground. In fact, the 2 of Marinac now starting to edge ahead.
And Marinac trying to hold off Bill Martin, and now he is going to get it. So that was very close, but it looks like Martin kind of had to let up a little bit. It looked like his car was trying to step out on him coming off the corner, but now just that little battle was all Schaefer needed to already open up a gap.
We go on aboard with the 17 of AJ Rogers for this little battle shaping up. He right now is in 4th place on the back bumper of the 39, and he is going to start taking a peek to that high side here. Maybe find some extra speed, a little bit cooler racetrack in that upper lane, maybe a little bit more grip.
And we're starting to see a few of these drivers start to peak towards the high side. I mean, this track is slightly banked. I mean, it's not a super high bank track like at, say, Bristol, but it's not completely flat, so that will kind of allow that outside line. But here comes that 39 machine trying to find that inside line to see if he can make it work. 2 of Marinac was able to defend on the high side last time. Let's see if we can do it again.
Bill Martin in the 39, now door to door, edging just ahead of the 2. And Bill Martin needs to get this pass done quickly because Joe Schaefer already out to a 1.2 second lead.
It looks like Martin is going to clear. Oh, not quite. It looked like he was. Now he's going to be clear of the 2. Going to get a little bit loose off the corner, and now here comes the 17 of AJ Rogers. He's going to try to see if he can get himself into the podium position. As we just go past lap 61, we will have to take a moment to speak about really the person this whole race has been named after, the Mighty Midget 161. This race is named after Dan Dubuque, one of the league's founding members who we sadly lost earlier this year. He's one of the, as we mentioned, one of his founding members. He was here from the beginning, and he's got the second highest amount of starts at 97, consisting of 1 top 5, 33 top 10s, and best points finish of 5th. He was with Al from the very beginning and is dearly missed. This race is named in his honor, as the Mighty Midget was Dan Dubuque's nickname at the racetrack.
As we mentioned, the 11 of Brian Hacker is running a Dan Dubuque paint scheme here tonight. And that 11 machine right now finds itself in 5th place. While all that was going on, the 2 of Steph Marinac, who got hung out on the high side, falls to 4th place. And now the 17 of AJ Rogers in 3rd. But Guillaume Fortin right there, trying to make his way up into the top 5. He is following the 2 of Steph Marinac, but the 11 of Brian Hacker on the outside lane.
Yeah, Hacker trying to get that outside lane to start working for him as we roll on to lap 69. We're just under 100 laps left in this race, and a big wiggle from a few drivers. The 13 of Guillaume Fortin has to drive all the way to the inside as he gets loose off of turn 2 there, but able to save it. However, loses a lot of ground to the 2 and the 11.
As those 2 battle side by side in 10th place, that is the 5 of Scott Austin. He is tucked in behind the 96 of Al, the boss man. And a lot of these cars are electing to go to the high side here without being challenged on the inside.
I think that just might be a case of them just trying to save time. Oh, caution out once more. And that's Andy Lambert right in front of the leader.
The 72 of Andy Lambert going around. Let's back this up and go to our turn 3 instant replay. Figure out what happened to the 72 of Lambert, who is now going to end up 2 laps down, because as you said, that happened right in front of the leader. Lambert battling with the 90 of Matt Roll. Matt Roll just going to get into his back bumper just enough that Lambert gets turned and pointed in the wrong direction.
And that, like I said, happened just not directly in front of Joe Schaefer, but before Lambert was even able to get his car pointed right around in the right direction. Schaefer came around the corner and had to kind of take evasive action to get around that 72 machine, but he was able to avoid it, get himself slowed up for the caution, and able to keep his car clean.
The 33 of Hugo Paquette going to get the free pass. He will be back on the lead lap. That will just leave us with Andy Lambert as the only car in the lap down category, but he does find himself 2 laps down.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for that 72, but it is very easy to go a lap down here at this track. Only 0.38 miles, so just over a third of the mile around this entire racetrack. So with these guys lapping it in 13 seconds, it really doesn't take long for you to fall far enough to be in the clutches of the leader, especially when that leader is Joe Schaefer and he's putting down the insane lap times he's been doing. I mean, right before the caution, again, 13.7, so it's actually faster than he was before the previous caution. I think that's just a case of just that caution period allowing him to cool off his tires.
As the lights go out on the pace car field, gonna stack up behind them. Bill Martin in the 39 is going to have to get a good restart here, as he will be in that outside lane. But let's not forget, this outside lane might have a little bit more grip, but with drivers starting to migrate to the high side, it is going to be hard for Bill Martin.
A bit of a spin of the tires from AJ Rogers right behind the 6 of Joe Schaefer, and Bill Martin actually got a fantastic jump, and I think he may have just gotten a bit of a cue from his teammate when he was going to go, but that 17 of Rogers coming back from the tire spin and was able to challenge Martin a little bit, but Martin now starting to use that outside line and use advantage and getting the better runs on the straightaways, and 3 wide, almost 3 wide just behind them, but the 2 of Marinac backing out at the last second.
The 81 of Jimmy McIntyre going way up the track. And big pile up. Al Smith involved. Brian Rogers involved. The 71 of Watkins going around. We have a big stack up right there heading into the corner. Let's back this up. Go to our turn 3 instant replay. You see the 5 and the 81 all trying to squeeze 3 wide. And they just run out of room. And that happened when the 81 went up the track. He goes way up high here. The 5 and the 96 all trying to make it 3 wide, and they just run out of room.
A big pileup, but few of these drivers getting a little bit of damage, but I don't think anyone really had race-ending damage off of that. I mean, that is one advantage of being on a bull ring like this, is you don't really get up to high enough speeds to do a ton of damage to your race car. I mean, taking a look at Al Smith, it looks like he got the worst of that. Yeah, his front end does look fairly crunched up, but hopefully there was no damage to the engine of that vehicle. Andy Lambert having a little bit of damage to his right front as well. Watkins was also involved in that. I don't see any damage on his race car, and Hugo Paquette's got a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, Brian Rogers really has caved in the front end of his car. One driver that appreciated this caution, though, that was the 72 of Andy Lambert. He is now 1 lap down. So he will be thankful for that caution, as much as he probably doesn't want to see a caution either. Well, he'll take what he can get.
Just passed over the halfway point before that caution flew, and Joe Schaefer has led every single lap and really has gone uncontested so far. So really the story for the second half of this race is anyone going to be able to catch the 6?
Lights go out on the pace car, and we will find out who has anything for Joe Schaefer. He has led all 84 completed laps here tonight in the Mighty Midget 161. Lights are out on the pace car, field set to go racing once again. Bill Martin on the outside, Schaefer on the inside. They drop the throttle and away we go with the green flag flying down into turn 1. AJ Rogers in the 17, door to door with Bill Martin. Bill Martin going to try and get a run up off the corner, but Rogers edging out ahead here.
Yeah, Rogers got a much better start that time, didn't spin the tires, and now challenging Bill Martin. And with the caution, these guys were able to cool off their tires, and that's kind of allowed that inside line to regain their strength. And it's going to be harder for that outside line to hold on, but here comes Martin, a good corner there off of 3 and 4. And again, seeing if he can get off of turn 2, almost up into the wall, but he's carrying good speed and able to hold off AJ Rogers so far.
AJ Hamill in the 18 machine got loose and sideways, and I believe he spun right onto pit road, as before he was even done spinning, that car was in a pit stall.
The 2 of Marinac having a bit of a wiggle that time, and that's going to allow that 11 of Brian Hacker to get underneath him and try to challenge. And just behind the 13 as well, having a bit of a wiggle, as these guys seem to be struggling for grip.
Big old stack of cars all the way from second place down to Matthew Barkhouse, who is in 7th, as Guillaume, big time wiggle coming off of turn number 2.
And Joe Schaefer able to already open up a 7/10 of a second lead over Bill Martin. Bill Martin holding off AJ Rogers. Just behind them a little bit, we got the 15 trying to look underneath the 11 of Brian Hacker. The Barkhouse, our fastest qualifier, is able to make a move on him.
So Joe Schaefer opening up a lead once again, as we have 68 laps to go here at Lanier.
Yeah, laps are ticking by quickly. At the same time, though, these guys are running out of rubber on their tires. Steph Marinac now challenging the 17 of AJ Rogers for that final podium position, and Marinac wants to finish as well as possible to keep that gap, that points gap, going into the last week of racing. But AJ Rogers doing whatever he can to hold them off. And AJ Rogers, one of those guys that just missed the cutoff for the chase, but ever since the chase has started, he's been trying to play spoiler. He's always up in the top 5, battling for positions and really making those chase drivers work for him as Marinac gets loose off of 4 and loses a bit of ground to Rogers.
Rogers did pick up a win at Five Flag Speedway, his only win of the season, and right now he is going to hold off the 2 of Marinac and move into 3rd, but Steph Marinac not letting him get away. But speaking of getting away, Joe Schaefer, Bill Martin starting to gap this field. Bill Martin not really able to close in too much on the 6 of Schaefer.
Yeah, Martin's almost a second back from Schaefer, but at the same time, Martin's a full second ahead of Rogers and Marinac, who are still battling for position, but Rogers going to get the position for now, and he's going to kind of stay up on that second lane there. I think it's just trying to conserve his tires, and now we see Marinac trying out that line just a little bit. As these guys are all kind of experimenting, trying to find where the grip is on this racetrack.
Brian Hacker still dealing with the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Guillaume Fortin right behind them. Guillaume trying to pick a winner. I've seen Guillaume follow the 11, and I've seen him follow the 15. So far, Guillaume really has not been able to crack the top 5. He is struggling in the middle of the pack here, but traffic at Lanier for this 13 a factor. But not only that, but I feel like that 13 machine just doesn't have the rhythm that this track is asking for.
Yeah, he's been kind of on the back foot this whole night. I mean, he started on that outside lane on the initial start. Oh, caution once more.
Caution coming out, I believe, the 33 of Hugo Paquette and the 5 of Scott Austin finding trouble out here tonight. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and see what happened. The 81 of Jimmy McIntyre battling with the 31 machine of Brad Carpenter right in front of Hugo, and Scott Austin in the 5 trying to get down to the inside. So Scott Austin made contact with the 33 Hugo Paquette, and then as he tried to check up, the 90 of Matt Roll coming in a little bit later, making contact with Scott Austin.
I think that second spin is what brought out the caution, because I mean, when the 33 got spun, he immediately went right down into the into pit road. But Scott Austin going to claim that that penalty, and he will move to the back of the field.
So the 5 of Scott Austin serving his EOL, and will now have to restart in 17th place. The 6 of Joe Schaefer, though, looking at 55 laps to go, has led the most laps here tonight. In fact, he's led all the laps so far.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to lead more laps than him, so he'll get the bonus for that. And Joe Schaefer just has, it's been a dominant night for him, and that's kind of been the whole story, is if Joe Schaefer is on, he is on. I mean, every time that he's won a race, he's won pretty handily. So we'll see if Joe Schaefer is able to keep himself out of trouble and able to lead the rest of the way to the end.
Bill Martin, again, going to have to restart on the outside. So far, he's been able to survive the last few restarts in the outside lane without being freight trained. You got to wonder, can he pull it off once again, as it appeared to have been the only car that had been within the same zip code of the 6 so far tonight.
Now, usually it's very hard to start from that second position there, because I mean, you have to be kind of watching through your side window to see when the leader takes off. But with Schaefer and Martin being teammates, I'm sure Schaefer is telling Martin when he's jumping, so that's allowing Martin to as well get the jump and kind of hold off AJ Rogers so far.
Bill Martin slides into second place. Rogers in the 17 on the inside of Steph Marinac. Brian Hacker in the 11 trying to get to the inside of the 2 as well. So Brian Hacker finding himself in 5th place. Barkhouse, who was hounding that 11 machine for several laps, now has to remount that attack again.
Steph Marinak trying to battle on that outside lane, and a bit of a wiggle from that 17 as he loses grip through turns 2 there, and that's going to allow that 2 to just get the nose ahead at the start-finish line, but not clear just yet as they're still battling for position. Now that 17 kind of resurging on the inside line.
4 cars underneath a blanket as they battle for 3rd place. Both the 17 and the 15. Wiggles coming up off the corner. That inside lane looking like those drivers unable to find the rear grip that they need to put the power down. Marinak in the 2, now edging out ahead of the 17 of AJ Rogers. Hacker in the 11, now door to door with Rogers.
Now it's starting to seem like that second lane is where you want to be if you're battling someone for position, because that inside lane is just too slick and not enough grip for you to be able to really effectively keep your car down low with the car up high. And as you can see that 17 is he's forcing that wheel to the left to keep himself out of the 11 while also trying to put the power down, and that's what's kind of burning off his tires.
Burning off your tires is going to be something that you have to deal with. Ooh, it's the 13 of Guillaume. Really sideways, almost got into the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Somehow Guillaume was able to save that. But now the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre down to his inside.
And 410 trying to keep himself in this championship hunt and just battling for every position he can. Unfortunately, just not a great night for him. He's been kind of stuck around that 7th place position pretty much the whole night. Now again, a bit of a problem for him off turn 4, and that's going to allow the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre to get door to door with him.
McIntyre in that Zumongo Eddie's meat market machine. You can't beat our meat, that 81 machine. Battling with the 13 of Guillaume, and he is going to win that battle as Guillaume really had to check up. That is going to allow the 42 of Brett Bartels, who had to get on the binders a little bit and cause the 42 to get loose. So Guillaume having more troubles here, but now the 31 of Brad Carpenter is going to be side by side with Brett Bartels in that 42 machine.
Looking back again at AJ Rogers, he's once again battling for position. He's got Matthew Barkos to his inside and the 11 of Hacker right behind him. So that 17 of Rogers pretty much completely penned in where he is, trying to figure out if he could get the power down fast enough to get himself around that 15. But Barkos able to hold the inside line fairly well and now starting to edge out ahead of that 17.
Barkhouse, who set on the quick time here tonight, had to start in 8th place because of the invert. Finally making his way up into the top 5, battling for 4th place. But AJ Rogers not really going to give up that battle too easy. Ryan Hacker in the 11 trying to pick a winner of this one. Jimmy McIntyre watching it all go down in that 81.
And McIntyre just kind of sitting back and watching, hoping these guys maybe get into each other, but Rogers now going to prevail on that outside line. I mean, we saw Barkos putting a good fight on the inside, but that second lane seems to be just a bit stronger now.
And the caution flag is going to come out, and I believe this time it is for the 33 Hugo Paquette once again. Let's go to our instant replay here and see if we can figure out what happened to the 33 machine. The 5 of Scott Austin on his inside, big impact with the 33. We'll back this up, take another look at that one, but the 5 of Scott Austin battling on the inside of Hugo Paquette. And it looks like Austin just came up the track as he was trying to track out to the outside wall. That was a heavy impact for the 33 as he has gone directly to his pit stall.
Yeah, I think Austin just kind of went too low on the racetrack. I mean, we saw guys going below the yellow line early on, but that was when they had fresh tires, and at this point it's really going to be hard to go all the way down there, especially when you got another car on your outside.
So caution flag coming out. We have 30 laps left into this race. We are working our 5th caution of the night. Joe Schaefer in the 6 has led every single lap. The 39 of Bill Martin sitting in second place. The 2 of Steph Marinac, your championship points leader, finding himself in third. And Guillaume, again, still trying to figure out what this track needs, how he can get around here. He is stuck in 8th place.
Yeah, but good news for him, Steph Marinac is only in the third as he's dropped back one position from Bill Martin, but at the same time, that's going to allow Marinac to kind of build that lead that he has over Guillaume, and Joe Schaefer going to be able to kind of close it up just a little bit, and that's going to kind of bode well for him going into the Twin 100s next week.
So lights out on the pace car. Drivers lined up single file as we get ready to go racing once again. The 6 is Schaefer on the throttle. Bill Martin not letting him get away. Steph Marinac sees an opportunity here. If he can keep that 39 close, he might be able to get around him and put some pressure on him.
Yeah, at the same time, Marinac's in a good spot. I don't think he needs to push too hard. I think that he has to kind of look at the big picture here. If he finishes in third, yes, Schaefer and Martin gain a bit of ground on him, but it's really not going to be that much. If he pushes hard, gets spun, he could finish all the way down in 17th, and that would be huge for Schaefer and Martin. So I think Marinac just has to play it smart and race safe here.
AJ Rogers on the outside lane with Matthew Barkhouse trying to make something happen on the inside. They are door to door, side by side. Barkhouse resuming the battle and trying to continue his march forward. Quickly running out of laps here to make his way onto the podium.
And Rogers and Barkhouse, those two guys have been battling multiple times through multiple different green flag runs. And neither one is able to get away from the others. Again, they're just still door to door, neither one giving an inch, but at the same time, they're kind of reeling in Marinac, and Marinac might kind of come into play into this battle.
Andy Lambert in the 72 machine, after getting back on the lead lap, has made his way around a few cars. He finds himself into 15th place and now starting to try and put pressure on the 90 of Matt Roll. Ryan Rogers just ahead of them. That smash front end seems to have slowed down the 12 just a little bit. Rogers finds himself in 13th spot.
And a battle for 6th place heating up between Hacker and McIntyre, as McIntyre trying to look to the inside and get around that 11 machine, but Hacker just able to hold on to the outside. Now going to clear the 81, but the 81 not giving up just yet, still trying to make moves on that inside line.
Jimmy McIntyre in what I would say is the prettiest red car out there. Well, if it weren't for the smash front end, it'd be darn near perfect. But that 81 machine having a solid night here as he is battling for 6th place. Brett Bartels in the 42 machine as we have cars sideways. That is the 13 of Guillaume Fortin, Al Smith, Matt Roll, all coming into this, making contact with each other. Let's go to our turn 3 instant replay and see what happened to the 13 of Guillaume. He gets hard into the wall. The 96 of Al Smith spins down to the inside. Take another look at this one.
And unfortunately, the caution flag didn't fly right away, so a few of these drivers did not know that there was cars spun, because with how short this track is, you don't really have much visibility down the racetrack. You come out of turn 4, all you can really see is just right up to turn 2, and that's only a few seconds ahead of you. So, or sorry, the entrance at you exit turn 4, you can only see 1. So, really only have a couple seconds to react, and without them really knowing that that caution was flying, they had no idea that there was cars sideways.
So caution flag out on the track as we're going to have 12 laps to go this time around. This race really starting to wind down. Joe Schaefer really has been unchallenged all night long. Bill Martin, the only one able to stay anywhere near him, still not able to get to his back bumper.
And it almost seems like Martin might be. Actually, I can't even say that Martin's really running a block for Schaefer, because I mean those two guys have just kind of every time gapped the rest of the field. Now with only will be under 10 laps to go at the next green flag start, so it's going to be hard for really anyone to challenge the 6 and the 39, especially now that we're going to be single file.
A single file restart on order for this one. Lights are out on the pace car. Joe Schaefer just waiting for his opportunity to get back to the throttle. Pace car down and away. Schaefer picks up the pace, and we're back to green flag racing with 10 laps to go here at Lanier for the Mighty Midget 161.
And the 15 immediately trying to go after the 17. Barkhouse not content with just the top 5. He wants to get himself into 4th. And again, still trying to battle with Rogers, nearly making contact there in turn 1 and in turn 2. Still door to door. Now just in front of them, Steph Marinak finally putting some pressure on Bill Martin.
Ooh, the 15 gets into the 17 a little bit, and that is going to break the momentum of AJ Rogers and allow Brian Hacker in the 11 to get down to his inside, but Matthew Barkhouse moves into 4th place, and AJ Rogers now dealing with the 11 machine and the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre right there if any of these cars make contact.
Now that 11 and Hacker trying his best to make that inside line work, but Rogers has been so strong on that second lane and been able to defend very well on the high side, so love to see if Hacker's going to be able to do it. Starting to lose a little bit of ground to that 17, but not giving up just yet. Kind of getting some more ground there through turns 3 and 4, and once again nearly even up on the start-finish line.
Joe Schaefer in the 6, going to have 4 laps to go this time around, and he is starting to eyeball victory lane, but can't do it too much because this is Lanier, this is short track racing. You don't focus on your line one time and you will end up in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, you get on the throttle a little too early, it can just bring you right up into the wall, and even if you don't get in the wall, you'd have to check up, kill your momentum, and that would allow Bill Martin to kind of capitalize on it. Like I said, if you have a situation where the sim doesn't throw the caution right away, you can be caught off guard by suddenly the track in front of you being filled with sideways race cars. So Joe Schaefer, just one more lap to go now. Has just got to focus on hitting his marks.
Final lap, white flag in the air, 1 to go, fueled by Verge as the 6 of Joe Schaefer looking to pick up the win. He is pulling away from Bill Martin. Final time off at turn number 4, and Joe Schaefer gonna lead every single lap out here tonight for the Mighty Midget 161, presented by Carpenter's Tax Service.
Yeah, from the start of the race, the drop of the green flag to the flying of the checkers, Joe Schaefer has absolutely dominated this race, and there is really just no other driver that was better than the 6 machine.
And as they line up 1, 2, and 3 on the front stretch, we're gonna set up our Austin Designs post-race show. No one go anywhere. We'll be back momentarily. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Austin Designs post-race show fueled by Verge. We have caught up with our race winner. That is none other than the 6 of Joe Schaefer. Joe, you lead all 161 laps here tonight. Tell us a little bit about that race and how lucky it was for you to mess up qualifying to end up in 8th.
Well, ever since the new build hit, I think it's something with the level of detail graphic setting that I'm using. And I overdrove turn 1 in qualifying, but it was still going to be a good lap. And then, but coming off of 4, I dropped a bunch of frames, so I let out of the throttle because I thought I was going to hit the wall. And I mean, what is it, a couple hundredths between me and then being 12th or whatever? So that was lucky. But saves me from being subject to a judgment call, so I'll take it. Once the race got going, I pretty much just knew it was going to be a battle of keeping the right rear tire on it. So I drove as hard as I had. Saving the right rear is what kept me going.
Well, the 6 was the fastest car every single lap out there tonight. At one point, you had almost a 4-second lead on the field. The key to getting around this Lanier Speedway as fast as you were tonight.
Langley and Oxford. I'm good at the tracks where I don't need to use the gas, and that's really what it boils down to. If you can chatter the front tires on entry, it's going to go tight. If you burn the rear tires on exit, it's going to go loose. And if you do both, you're going to want to quit 50 laps in. So drive it really, really easy. And the 4-second lead thing, I think Steph was backing off to save tires. I don't think I was pulling away that fast.
Well, the 6 led every lap out here tonight. You bring home another win in this fueled by Verge Upstate Racing League. Any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give?
Yeah, I think Epic Media, Drew Krybeck for supporting me every week.